Sorry, are you asking me or Howard?
Yes. Did you want to an answer? It sounded like kind of a question, but I wasn't sure if you.
Can you repeat? Sorry. The first agenda item?
Different how this working group interacts with security. This working group is not explicitly security, but has overlap with security related things. So
yeah, I thought it's relevant to the security. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that's not all, right?
They're overlapping, not equivalent kind of things.
So, what's the responsibility of the policy working group?
Do we have a good one sentence?
I mean, can you tell me how the policy working group works and what's its responsibility?
So, first of all, working group, the structure of working group in Kubernetes, meaning we are discussing something that is cross-SIGs. So typically when you see like multi-tenancy, resource management, and hours policy working group. So first of all, we are discussing things that are cross-SIGs. And secondly, we are focusing on policy, which is more about like under what circumstances who should do what, something like that. Policy basically like mandates, something like that. So we are focusing on like how the policy architecture in Kubernetes should be, and mostly the working group is trying to like facilitate people have different ideas on policy coming our discussion, but we also try our best to help either sponsor related projects or having others have that capability to help related projects.
Okay, I see a question in the agenda. Clarify how this working group differs from SIG-Auth. I think this is also what I want to ask.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So SIG-Auth is one of the SIGs that like the working group is collaborating with. So SIG-Auth mostly focusing on the authorization or security aspect of Kubernetes, where we focus specifically on if you are using policy to enforce security, how do you do that? So for example, one of the cross collaboration point is the security policy. So at the moment, there is some refactoring using the Gatekeeper project. So that's something that SIG-Auth and us will like jointly pay attention to.
Okay.
And other than that, then it's SIG-Auth's focus, I think.
Yeah. So I think that we have the policy working group. We have the SIG security. SIG-Auth. And the SIG security is in the CNCF level. Do we have a SIG security in the Kubernetes level?
Okay.
I believe there's a securities working group that is just starting up. I'm not sure.
Another one?
Well, I think it might be more focused on things like how do you deal with CVEs and you need to push out and collaborate and get the Kubernetes
Okay.
patched. So not as much the
Safe working group.
for the user,
Okay.
but the I don't know what the word is, but the
Okay.
for like the security release process and more of the operations of the project itself, security. I think SIGAuth sorta, and I don't know if they've clarified or decided, is mostly the security place.
So SIGAuth is almost SIGAuth. Can I say that SIGAuth is the SIG security for the Kubernetes?
It's the closest there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I joined the CNCF SIG security meeting. Then I found that it's related to all the projects in I think all the projects in the CNCF. So my interest, as I said, my interest focus on the Kubernetes and EC2, something like this. So I want to shrink the field and find the SIG security for the Kubernetes. Then I find the policy working group and the SIGAuth. This brings some confusion to me.
Okay. Yeah. On that, you should probably just focusing on the SIGAuth.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe some examples of policies that aren't necessarily security related are policies gating for the CI/CD pipelines, or the network policies are sometimes more about routing properly rather than securing, or scheduling policies can be about resource utilization in addition to security. There are some of the compliance you can argue is not very security related. So those are some of the examples I can think of where SIGAuth doesn't necessarily get into, but we would as cross SIG working group.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
So you can send me your WeChat ID in the private chat. I can
Okay.
and follow up.
Great.
Okay, back on the agenda, some update from me. Since we agreed that for the North America summit, we don't submit for an individual working group session, I actually submit a 2-hour workshop at the contributor summit, which I think is a better form than like a session. The deep dive or intro sessions we had in the past summit. So well, I've been to some of these workshops at the contributor summit. I think they're wonderful. They're more focused in a like smaller room, so that I think we can, for example, have some in-depth discussion with Robert's Guardian project, something like that.
That'd be sweet.
Yep.
I'm sure we have a lot of things we could do in the deep.
Yeah, rather than just have talks, but it just proposed. I'm not sure whether it will be. Yep. Because I see the program people hopping on the resource management working group channel, ask them to. Okay. Yeah, we have a deadline for the SIG Security Organized Security Day. I believe this will be the third co-located like pre-summit event on security.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was putting this in case people were interested in submitting something for themselves. Some of the suggested topics include policy enforcement, data compliance, and governance.
Yeah. I think Aqua.
So,
Aqua has their security day. There's another one.
They're not wrapping it up into this one? Oh.
I suggested, but was ignored. So people just want to have another one. Anyways.
All right.
Okay. Who added this section?
Yeah, that was me. I think we
cool.
just covered it, but it came up on the last week's SIG Security, the CNCF call.
Yeah.
And Dan basically had the same questions that we just discussed. But he was positive about it. He wanted to see if there was a way to increase cross-pollination. So I think we clarified how this work group differs from the other SIGs and Gatekeeper and other things. So I guess the only open question there is, are there things that we can participate across the SIG security boundary, or like I added here is, I think we are more aligned currently to SIG auth. As you said, Howard, my assessment of the CNCF SIG security is they're still kind of figuring out what they want to focus on. I mean, I attend those calls as well. My focus on the SIG security calls has been around organizing the security assessments of the CNCF projects. OPA was the previous one. We're planning to do Falco next. But the scope of that is well beyond just policy and the scope or policy definition. The scope of that is the security of those projects in total. So how are they configured? How are they installed? How are they maintained? How are CVEs resolved? So it's far more expansive than just, does it support policy, or does it implement policy, or does it enforce policy? So, but that being said, I think, there's probably some contribution to the assessment process that Kubernetes policy in particular has for most CNCF projects. So just, I don't know what the best vehicle or vector for that cross-pollination is. So that's why I promised Dan I would raise it here, and I have done so.
Yeah, I've tried to have a conf call with JJ for like 3 months. It's like he pinged me, I was asleep, I pinged him, he's asleep. So yeah, we just did that yesterday, I think. Again, unsuccessfully finding each other available for a call.
I'm feeling a little guilty here. I used to go to SIG security very regularly and kind of dropped out, especially while they were kind of doing some of the figuring governance out or whatever. I should probably go again.
Yeah.
It's definitely moved past the governance part, and for a while there was a phase where it was really just about meta documentation. I think now it's really kind of hit a little bit of momentum around organizing the assessments, and I'd say that's about 50% of the mindset, and then I'd say the rest of it is more kind of what other resources do people want. So like today, if you were on the call, there was a big discussion about supply chain security. So, should there be a SIG security compendium of resources or a checklist, or, should it be more active in the community around recommending things? So I think they're trying to figure out how to disseminate info about certain topics within the security umbrella. I think the most actionable and the one that has the most traction to me is the security assessment process, because that's concrete, and you see the value immediately if you have an external group of people who are more or less security experts reviewing a particular project. The output of that process is highly valuable to users, especially newer users, and operators who want some sort of validation that the project has been reviewed and is secure. So, but the other stuff I think is a little bit more amorphous, and they're trying to get their heads wrapped around what resources to provide, what form that should be in.
Yeah. Another thing is that it is sort of for policy related discussions is like it just always like people like us discussing it. I didn't see like any other folks in SIG security actually interested in policy. So
yeah, I'm a little surprised that, and it may just be lack of awareness, because I would think that the SysTig folks and the Falco folks in particular, Chris Nova, Michael Ducey, I would think the NSM folks would be interested. It may just be lack of awareness. Like I say, maybe there just needs to be more broadcast of what we're interested in.
Have they replied to your email? I think you sent out one to the Falco.
She did, yeah. Chris, the response was that Chris created a GitHub issue in the Falco project to provide us with an update as to when they're going to be ready.
Oh, so, cool.
I don't yet have a date from that as to when they're going to be ready, but
okay.
As soon as they're ready, then what Brandon Lum and I have been discussing on the assessment plan is who's going to be on that team and what the timing would be and what the expected schedule would be. So I was hoping to get that done by KubeCon, but that's really in the hands of Falco as to how quickly they're ready. And then, of course, how quickly they would respond to our requests for information. I'm a little less optimistic as the weeks go by that could get done by KubeCon, unless it really started immediately.
Okay. Okay, so yeah. I think one other thing we can do is like Erica participate one of the call and give a like summary update, and I see if I can successfully set up a call with JJ after 3 months. So and give him a update like from the policy side.
Sounds good
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, I think other than that, it's just when we formed SIG security, so CNCF says they don't want too many like specific working groups, right? That's why in the description we have security aspect of things and we have policy aspect of things also covered. But I think so I think they need to like put more emphasis on policy side of things. We can just drive things so far and so much with our bandwidth, right? And
yeah, I think that de facto home for most policy discussions is probably centered around Gatekeeper right now. I like you, Eric. I was on Gatekeeper calls some months ago, but I've dropped off. I probably need to jump on and now that they're kind of past the MVP stage and see what their roadmap looks like. But I would think, I know we had some Gatekeeper folks on the call the last couple of times here. So that was good.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to reciprocate and try to be on the Gatekeeper call.
Yeah, sure.
And then Gatekeeper would of course be relevant to the Guardian's effort. So yeah. I'll volunteer to jump on the Gatekeeper and kind of reconnect with that group.
Yeah, sounds great. Hey, can you like provide the link of the issue you mentioned Chris created for Falco?
Oh yeah, give me a
Track
second.
yeah.
Yeah, let me dig it up. I've got it here somewhere.
Okay. Okay, Guardian POC update. Probably, hey, that sounds great. End of September.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been. I'll put a link to that repo as well here after I get the Falco issue link. But I've been fleshing out the design. I've been fleshing out some use cases, and then in particular, I've been kind of defining the semantic model for the Kubernetes RBAC, which of course led me to SIG-auth resources to review. But yeah, so I think, you know, having working code is probably optimistic. Like say sometime in September is my goal. So, but definitely pre-KubeCon I think is realistic to have something that's demoable. So let me get this link. I'll get a couple of these links in here. So here's the, so it's two, where did it go? Shoot. Why can't I find it? All right, I will have to dig it up. Let me get the one I can always find here is my repo. So let me get the link to that in there for those who haven't looked at Guardian. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me put that in the Google Doc. So I'll just link, and then I'll paste it in the chat here. Okay, so that's the Guardian link. And then for those who haven't joined before, so Guardian is my attempt at trying to introduce tooling for formal verification, and in particular policy formal verification. So if you're familiar with Amazon or Azure tooling, they've published some papers around their formal validation tools. One is called Zelkova on Amazon, one is called Tiros. Zelkova is RBAC policy verification. So if you're familiar with Amazon and you want to validate your S3 bucket policies, Zelkova is kind of the formal logic behind verifying your policies is what you expect, you know, that you don't have public available buckets and things like that. Tiros is network policy verification. So, you know, do I have an open hole in my security rules or security groups for AWS VPC security group policies? Microsoft has similar publications around their SecGuru tool. They've both taken similar approaches. They have slightly different, you know, variations on exactly how they model things. But ultimately, it seems to boil down to SAT solvers or SMT solving. And the different frameworks around getting things into that format. So that's basically the plan I'm planning to take, is model our efforts here for a Kubernetes policy tool around those proven efforts and use their architectures as a guide. But I'd love to have additional collaborators and feedback, and anyone you know who might be interested in formal logic, model checkers, provers, SAT solvers, SMT, feel free to pass the word on. The more the merrier.
Yeah, but this is the first time Kubernetes sees so many Greek symbols.
That's right.
I'm just happy.
Right, we're sticking with the Greek theme.
It's cool that there was an issue about it. I just saw that.
Really?
You noted that there was an issue in Kubernetes for someone asking for validation of RBAC.
Oh yes, some time back there was a conversation in the RBAC commits or issues, and I can't remember the exact one, but they said, "Boy, wouldn't it be great if we had a tool that verified this?"
Yeah.
and so here we are. I can't remember how old that was, but I think it was more than a year old.
Maybe we should reach out to that person.
Yeah, I think so. I think when we have something specific to show, I'll definitely, and which, like I say, hopefully will be in the next few weeks. We should definitely loop those folks in and get their feedback. And I think, per the discussion around where we fit in the ecosystem, I think that's a good cross-pollination point with SIGAuth to introduce the MVP to SIGAuth and say, you know, this is relevant to RBAC. It can be relevant to pod security policy and other things. So, you know, please give feedback.
Yeah, cool. I thought at the SIG security, CNCF SIG security meeting, they mentioned the Falco as PSP replacement. Am I crazy, or was that brought up?
Really?
I swear I saw something about that. Maybe it got dropped from the agenda, though.
I'm not recalling it, but I might have missed it myself. Okay, found the Falco issue. So that's where Chris is supposed to provide us an update. So obviously, just a placeholder right now.
Looks nice. Okay, on the note of AWS, like their efforts on formal verification, I saw the news yesterday that from Mark Booker, the VPC for AWS Lambda. I think they have a complete offering now. I think that the formal verification work the automated reasoning group previously did must like help tremendously for the rolling out the VPC for the AWS Lambda.
Yeah, I did see an article about performance improvements around VPCs and Lambda yesterday, day before, something like that. But I missed the bit about their formal reasoning tool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think just you know try to like make sure the property is correctly like implemented or just for those functions. There's gonna be a ton of work. So I think formal verification actually help if you know they did like they mentioned in Byron Cook's group's paper that they had the abstract model for the whole VPC, and they can actually verify it without sending probes or pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta find a way to involve those AW guys more. They have all the PhDs. Okay, any other topics?
Nope, none for me.
Not from me.
Yeah, another thing So we should maybe try to get an update from the multi-tenancy group. That might be useful. Since it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on with their tenancy stuff.
So do you mean we do update at the multi-tenancy working group, or
the other way around? Yeah, I was actually thinking the other way around.
Okay. Anyone you know, or we just fetch?
Well, maybe should go to the meeting and then ask then.
Okay. Yeah. I can also shout out on this on the Slack channel. See somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. They have profiles. That's pretty sweet. That might be useful too. So.
Okay. If there's no other topic, shall we conclude the meeting today?
Nothing for me.
I think so.
Okay. Let's conclude the meeting and see you in 2 weeks or on Slack.
Sounds good. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Cheers.
Yeah.